How's it going, everybody? Hi, welcome to another Monday live stream. My name is Guillaume. I'm a live sound engineer that talk about everything that has to do about live sound on this channel here, and also just a little bit about the Behringer Wing, because I happen to have one where I can put my coffee on it. A little not ready as usual today. I was running to get a fresh coffee, showing off my mugs. I'm a mug collector. Apparently, once you become an adult, you end up collecting weird stuff. I'm collecting mug of place that I visited in Fridge Magnet. Apparently, you guys do that? Actually, wait, hold on a second. How you guys doing? Welcome. Rob, where are you from? Vacation Land. Where's Vacation Land? I know a lot of places on there, but Vacation Land is not something that I know. Is it next to Neverland? Actually, I want to know, how was your weekend? How do you guys did this weekend? Anybody want to talk about something that happened this weekend? Because today, the floor is yours. I may show up some stuff from the console that I should, well, actually I leaked it already, so why not? But I didn't want to announce it in the title. But I'm a mugger. Hey, come on, Rob, you can't say that. Last week of vacation, enjoyed that, my friend. But seriously, I want to know what do you guys want to talk about? Because this is a open to the floor. I got no subject today. I got my phone ringing in my pocket. Never forget to turn your phone into silent mode when you're doing live shows, behind the console or in front of the camera. So, hold on. Are you guys seeing okay? Because YouTube's not really happy again with what I'm broadcasting. You guys happy? Yeah, okay. Excellent connection, excellent collection. You guys are there. Okay, slow start. But man, I'm happy to be home vacationing, because I don't know for you guys, but I've been really busy in the last couple of months, like really over the top busy. And the next upcoming month look to be as busy as I am right now, or I was. You get the idea. So, should we, and I want you guys' opinion on that, should I leak some of the stuff that is in the new beta version of the firmware? By the way, I must point out, disclaimer here, I do have access to some of the file, but I'm not an active beta tester. For those of you who wonder what's happening with me, and some people don't like how I discover or I apply thing here. Disclaimer, I have access to this stuff, but I'm not an official active beta tester, other than having a good communication with people over at the tribe. And reporting what you guys say about the firmware and the bugs that you guys found. I honestly do not have time to spend hours on doing playback and playing with the console at home. I'm busy working out on shows. Last week I had 4 shows. I have also another 4 this week. A smaller event, but still, it's taking the whole day. When you leave at noon and come back at 1 in the morning, once you eat, take a shower, and go to bed, it's rinse and repeat. You start another day, another show. So, yeah, basically this is what I want to say. Some people don't like that. Well, don't watch my channel. But if you do watch my channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you liked this video. I would really appreciate that. I don't know how many likes that we have. Only 2 so far. You guys can give that a little boost. Like that video. And make sure to ring the bell if you subscribe to the channel, so you know every time that we are going live, like I'm going every Monday at 1:30 p.m. live. And if you want to support me in what I do, you feel like you're generous and you got some empty change and you want to pay me basically a coffee a month, feel free to subscribe as a member of the channel, or even a super member. Super member get 1 hour of free time with this camera, this camera over there, can I get that right? This camera over on top of me here, and I can answer your question about your console. We can talk about live sound. We can talk about anything, really. So, well, I got a question for you. Hold on. Is there something wrong with my chat here? Can I get my chat a little bigger? I'm getting... There you go. I can get my chat a little bigger. 200%. Now I can see what Rolf has to say. Well, I have a question. Do you prepare for a show beforehand? How many changes do you have during the show? It depends. Seriously. If I've already mixed a show, usually when I load the show file, take my USB key, load that into the console, usually I'm 95% there. If I prep a show, I will do some, not all, but I will do most of the processing in pre-production. Meaning, if I grab a channel like here, I'm going to grab like an unused channel. Let's say that this is, my bass drum. I'm going to start adding a gate. I'm going to turn the gate on, and I will make sure that I have that ready. EQ wise, I know, let's say for a bass drum, I know I'm going to need some stuff like not a low cut. I know I'm going to need some stuff around 50, 60. I know I'm going to need a cut here. This is the kind of stuff that I already prepare when I'm doing, live show. And of course, if I'm going bass drum, I'm going to go 160 compressor. This is the kind of stuff that I prepare beforehand. Get my reverb ready. Get the stuff that... I'm basically building a template. After that, I listen. This is the part that a lot of people seems to don't understand. You need to listen. There is no magic trick. There is no recipe that you can follow to make sure that your band's gonna fit in. You have some stuff that, of course, you will do some regular things. Like I would always cut down. Let me bring out my vocal here. I'm always gonna cut down on the low end on a vocal microphone, like on this one. I can probably cut that down, but I like to have the full low end on this microphone. But usually for like a handheld microphone, I will like start around 120 up to 160 low cut, and all those input, every single input on the console, I know that I will do some kind of low cut or EQ, or I know that I'm gonna need some processing. It's not there all the way, but the fact that, let's say I have a low cut at 120 on all my vocals, I have a compressor already there. I know I set my threshold to be minus 18 on every single compressor. I know I put my gate starting point at minus 35 dB on the threshold, and I know roughly what attack and release I'm gonna do. Things may change a little bit because I'm tweaking the whole show. That's something that a lot of people don't understand. I spend most of my time mixing, and when I don't feel like I have any move to do, like fader wise or effect wise, I listen to stuff and I try to correct like specific smaller EQ for some polishing. But I usually get the rough done in pre-production. Most of the time, all I have to do is setting up my gain for all my inputs and listen a little bit. But I'm 95% there. Like, I've done enough show with SM58s that I know where the EQ curve is going to be for them. And I'm just going to EQ out my stuff like I did before, because it sound way better to me. I don't know if it sounds way better to you, but anyway. Needed to touch that EQ. For some reason, this is what I need to cut on my Roland TG2, and I can probably push that a little bit. Okay. Back to business. So yeah, basically, I just prepare roughly what I know is going to be done, and I listen. Like, I know I can take the point on an SM58, like the 2, around 300, around 2.5, 3K. I know naturally the microphone tends to enhance those frequency more than other, because if you look at the pattern, the pickup pattern of a, the graphs that come with the microphone with the SM58, that's the bump. That's where you will have, those EQ bumps. So I try to flatten them out in the beginning, and I'm usually good to run with that. Get start really fast. After that, I'm gonna EQ for the person. But most of the time, if it's back vocal and they don't sing much, I just leave that as is. It doesn't really matter. So that's my theory. After that, really interesting, interesting thinking here. I think EQ curve for SM58 will change every night with different singer room speakers. Yes, you're right, but there's a but. I know if I tweak out my SM58 a certain way, like I already have my EQ preset, in 95% of the case, because it's not 100% true, 95% of the case, I EQ the channel strip a certain way. It's gonna work for most people, and after that, I EQ the PA. And this is something that a lot of people overlook, because this is not a behavior that is happening a lot in the studio. People don't tune out PAs. People don't balance out their speaker in their room. This is where I spend most of my time, is make sure that whatever I program on the console, whatever I EQ out on the console, to make sure it's going to sound good in headphone, good in in-ear monitor for the band, the reproduction of that in the PA, the signal that I take from my main out that I send into the PA, if the PA is perfectly tuned, fully transparent, and EQ'd out for the room, so meaning the reflection zone in the room are damped, or the PA do not excite those reflections in the room. If the PA is perfectly tuned and flat meaning all the frequencies responds to the same level, meaning whatever that you're sending into that sound system is going to be reflected perfectly. It's going to be like if you take the RTA reading of a CD, I was about to say a CD, whatever song that you're playing, if you put your microphone in the room, it should be exactly the same. The reproduction of the sound system would be the same. If you can achieve that, whatever you have going on your console, whatever mix that you prepared there, should be reflected in the room. My goal is always to make sure that every single channel strip of the console sound the best they can for in-ear monitors and for the PA. But if I have to choose, I'm gonna make sure it's gonna sound really, really good on the channel strip on the console for the in-ear monitor, and then I will do my mix and I will EQ out my PA until it sounds the way I want. That way, what you're achieving doing this is you have a consistent mix on your console. You're always, sending out the right, and I'm gonna go on quote here, right mix for your band, EQ wise, blend wise, compression wise, and you're gonna try to push that into the PA and tweak it until it reproduces what you're trying to do. A lot of people don't get that. A lot of people try, to EQ, or they take the signal to the main out and they EQ it so it sounds good in the room. Whatever, no matter how the PA is gonna sound. GEQ on the system, never been a fan of that. I'm always parametric EQ. But of course, graphic EQ is gonna work, but I prefer to use parametric, and most of the time, with nowadays speaker, because I'm gonna say it was not the case 15 years ago when I started. Nowadays, the speaker coming out of the factories, it could be the small Eon that I'm working a lot with the little truck that you guys saw me doing smaller shows, or even the bigger system. Nowadays, speakers are really good and they reproduce really well, and they are flat response. They are tuned from the factory. They take the component, they take the horn, the 15, 12, 10-inch driver, and they have some processing in there to make sure it's in phase with one another inside the box, and to make sure that it reproduces frequency-wise the full spectrum. That's the ultimate goal. When you have a speaker that sounds so good that it doesn't have any color. No PA is perfect. No speaker on stands are perfect. No studio monitors are perfect. No line array PAs are perfect. Even flat, even a full line array, L-Acoustic K3, K2, whatever, a DV Dusk, even flat, they have a tendency to color the sound a little bit. Even if it's flat, even if you run the RTA to it, it's fully tuned, perfect for the room. It's not going to reproduce exactly your mix. So this is why you have to mix. This is why you need to change, your level. But you don't EQ out everything to fit the PA. You just take your mix that is supposed to be done correctly on your console, that sounds good in everybody's in-ears, that sound good in most PAs, and you want to tweak out the PA that do not sound good, not the other way around. So I always tend to use graphic EQs on PA because I believe they give me more control over sometimes, a frequency that is in between two band. The width also, the curve of the EQ and the amount that you're doing. But most of the time, what I do is I use a song, send that into the PA, or a recording of the band, or a playback, and I listen. If the bass drum is really too fast or too boomy into a sound system, I listen to it. I go to my bass drum, take a listen, like, oh, okay, that day I don't know what happened. Maybe the internal mic got buried under a towel or something, and I have absolutely no attack. So I'm not gonna take that into consideration. But if my microphone is fine, if I'm listening to it into my headphone, I listen to it in the context of the mix on the console, doing a virtual sound check. If it's really good, it's good. If I take my headphone out and listen to the PA, it's way too fat. I'm either gonna send less amount of information to the subwoofer, or I'm gonna ask my local system tech to send less information to the subwoofer, or I will just go down there myself and bring the volume down on the subwoofer. Meaning that versus the PA or the higher frequencies, the tops, call them whatever you want, the amount of energy sent, or the representation of energy that is sent from the speaker is too high in the low end. So I'm gonna trim the subwoofer down, get a more even reproduction. Once I got that right, bring my mix back up, and usually it sounds really close to what I want to be. I listen to the room, there's some frequencies, sometimes, there's usually stuff around 2K, 3K, 4K reflecting from the walls, or a concrete floor. I listen to it, and I'm gonna EQ out a little bit, and I'm gonna wait for people to come in. But most of the time, I do not totally destroy the mix on my console. I just leave everything as I prepared them from a previous show. If it was sounding good, the chance that you have a good mix on your console are really good. So I want to start saying that. After that, just EQ out your PA until it sounds good, and everything that you prepared, everything that you tried to do with a virtual sound check, or just, get your stuff ready in something that makes sense, should be reflected to the PA the way you want it to be. That was a good rant for you guys. Do I make sense? Do you guys You guys think I make sense, or am I totally wrong? Is that your approach? It's been my approach for the last few years, and honestly, it's served me well. It's a really good theory that I did, or practicing a theory that I did for the last few years, and it worked in most situations. It was more helpful doing it this way, to do front of house and monitor at the same time, and I got a good result with that. Let me know what you guys think. After that rant, maybe I can show you guys some cool stuff. Good answer to your question, Rolf. Thank you very much for asking it out. Baba, also thank you for the precision about the GEQ. And while we're at it, you guys ready? Last week, I accidentally showed some stuff. Show us the new firmware? Okay. Last week, I accidentally showed some stuff. I didn't know, because I didn't fully read the release or didn't see it, or didn't grab my attention, because, you know, sometimes it's tricky to get a lot of information in the release notes, especially the non-public one. It's really short down, so I didn't see that one. But let's take a look at this. In the routing section, I accidentally show the sources. And in the sources, I show the user signal. And on this page, as you can see, there is 48 user signal. Hold on. Don't freak out. Don't go crazy. User signal used to be only 24, only the top 24 won. And the way that you were working with them is you took a physical output. So this is basically becoming an output. You assign a source to it. Could be any channel, could be any bus, could be any main or matrices, or the aux channel. So the 48 channel plus the bus. And you were using this to take that signal and sending it out to P16, recording, using the processing on the channel. You were using this as a source for an output to USB, monitoring, live streaming, whatever. You send your process stuff to the live stream and they just remix, whatever. So we're used to this. Nothing new here. Nothing new here. The new thing is, starting at user 25. What can you do with this? Because it's already, I've already patched it somewhere. What are the options in the assign? It's only for your input. So if you take a channel, if you take a source, you can do user signal, grab a source from there, could be 25 into 25. A25 would be the source of user 25. I can change that. It could be USB player, WLive play, a Dente input, source. That's the new thing with the user signal. Make me things. I don't know what to do with them. User signal 25 to 48 are limited, or have, only this. So my understanding, if this is an output, I'm using 48 right now. This is just a direct out. You have no way to process anything with these. And if we go into the output user signal, you will see that reflected here. Unlock that. You only have these options. If you go, like, you cannot, like, user signal. Or if I'm using another, you cannot like user signal anything. It has to go into the output. And from here, you can select your stuff. If you want to, it could be a channel, it could be, you set up that in the source menu, but other than here, nothing. I don't understand what to do with them, honestly. And I want you guys' opinion. Do you understand, or do you have an idea to use the user signal or the new user signal that will be implemented soon? Because I don't see the use for them either. Maybe I'm totally missing out on something here, but I just don't see. Yeah, it looks just like a pass-through. And I don't understand what you do with them. What's the purpose of that? Anybody have any idea? Really interesting one here from Rob. My motto is that mixing is about compromise. Compromise less, or and compromise other time more. Yeah, I agree with Rob. Sometimes, you compromise for to please more people sound-wise in the venue. That's my approach. I've always tried to maximize the sonic result for the most people in the venue. Sometimes you have to sacrifice, a couple seats to make sure that everybody else is gonna have fun. So that'll be it. Maybe they want to provide consistency. Consistency in what way? I don't see. It depends on what new stuff can use the user signal. I don't know. I don't know what to do with them, Rob or Rolf. I just don't understand it, because it's basically a direct out. Because you can take any, let's say that you want to use it. Let's go here. This is a user signal, but it can also be any output. Or hold on. If I'm doing, user signal. I don't see it. I don't see how to do this. Because, I don't see any other use. Because it's just a direct out, basically. It's taking the user signal 25 to be sent out. But it's also the same thing as if I were, as if I were to choose another stage box and just patch it in there. It's either I'm not understanding how to do this at all, or they basically, or maybe something is missing. I'm gonna go with this approach. Maybe something else is missing, and this is why I don't get the point of what's happening here, but I don't see the point. Consistency in output routing, so you can assign your DAW channel processed and unprocessed via the same routing mechanism. Yeah, that could make sense if you want to send out to your USB. That's the source. Hold on, the wing is backward. Yeah, if you want to send, like, from this menu here, let's say that you want to have, everything into user signal. You can use your user signal this way. But I mean, if the only thing that you have access to is that page. If the only thing that you have access to is a direct out, why just not send that preamp out directly? I don't see it. I tried the beta since not been my console yet. Did the vacation. Oh no, poor Rob. You have to be on vacation other than spending time on your console. What's up, Stevie T? Stevie T Cooper, not to be mistaken with the YouTuber Stevie T. As if the... Welcome, Stevie. It's your first time. Oh, welcome to the live stream. But you can't assign channel direct out to those. This is what I don't understand. Yeah, actually, let's go take a look at this again. If you go in the routing section and you go in your source, user signal, on these you have access to all the channel and all that stuff. Where 25 and up, you only have access to preamp. And that's the part I don't get. That's the part I don't get at all. It's like tile lines, but directly output without going into a channel. Yeah, but you can do that without... You can do that without the user signal. You can take a preamp. Let's do it just for fun. You can take a preamp, go in the source menu, take local input 1, set that to mono, set your gain level, set your 48 volt phantom power, flip the polarity, and you can even do some other stuff with all the remote connection and all that stuff. And you can take that and go to your output group and go, let's say that you want to into Dente. You're just gonna go here, local, here in Dente, and Dente 1 is just Dente 1 just been sent to this one. It's you don't need the user signal to do this. You just take the preamp, build it as a source, and sending it out to an output or Dente or to wherever you want. It could be your P16, could be your P16 Dente, Stage Connect. Stage Connect, is there anything new here? 30 channel, no, that doesn't change. So I just don't understand what to do with them. One is used, hold on, what do you say, Rob? Sorry, just tried to read the chat. Or you need to reassign a mismatch even odd channel input with a stereo pair. Yeah, you can do that. You could do this. You can change, but I mean, I like that too, but this should just not be a thing. But you can have, let's say, okay, real honest use. You can take two signals that say that you have your electric guitar, and for some reason, usually you only have a mic and somebody show up with a stereo rig. You can just use your regular input, pair that with another input from another stage box, even if you want to, and put them together next to the other into a stereo group. But I mean, yeah, maybe that could be a use case. Yes, okay, first use case, I'll give it. If you ever want to do some really weirdo like channel 17 from stage box A stereo paired with channel 17 of stage box B, you can do this. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's go to Stevie T's question. You double post that? You don't have to, man. I'm gonna read every single comment that we have here on the chat, don't worry. Back to my question, please. Kindly help me explain how I can make my wing slave control slave console use the S32 stage box while the Behringer X32 master clocks use local out, please. To do this, I would need to have an X32 on hand, because it's a routing that will happen on an X32. If somebody in the chat is willing to explain how to do this on an X32, I don't have it in front of me right now, but I know it's going to be in the routing menu of that said X32. You're going to take some stuff of the AS50A. Let's say AS50A is your stage box, and you're going to make sure that you send that out to the X32 port B, or you want to make sure that port A and B are passing through and not through the console. It's just another way to do it. But yeah, Stevie, I would need an X32 to show you that. Sorry, I'm gonna stick to the wing for right now. But on the wing, let's say, okay, I'm gonna try to answer the question, but the other way around. Let's say that you would have the wing to do this. Your stage box is coming from ASA, so it will be connected here, and you want to make sure that you have the port from B. You understand what's happening here? You take the port from B and send them to A directly. You don't need to go through the console or through anything. As long as everything is turned on and lit up, you take your A and B output and you make sure that the stuff coming from your wing from B is going to be sent through A, and through A will be reflected to your stage box. I hope that answered your question, but this is the fancy routing that you need to do to make sure that you have stuff talking one through another. I've done that with multiple console and wing before, so I know it's working. It's just a matter of figuring out the patch, but it's going to be on your X32 in the routing menu, AS50, a couple page to the right, AS50A and B. This is where you want to start to have fun and enjoy the process of understanding how to send stuff from B directly to output A. So you basically want to go output A and select your line coming from AS50 output port B, and it should be working. I hope that answered your question. Wing versus X32. They probably have similar preamp, but the sound quality is different. Why? Okay. The reason why is they have similar preamp, not the same. Let me explain. Okay, before that, there's a great video where Dave Rapp is opening up a wing and an M32, not a wing, an X32 and an M32, and he showed the difference between the preamps. They are the same design. They really are the same design on paper. Meaning, it's a Midas design preamp, but done with cheaper parts and a redesign to make it cheaper. One is going to use surface mount capacitors, if you know a little bit about electronic. Some of them will use surface mount condenser. Some of them will use real full-size capacitor and resistance. Other stuff will use surface mount transistor and resistance, and it's cheaper. They are more affordable parts, where also the price difference is coming from, and the price and design and the ease of manufacturing them is easier with the surface mount stuff, because you can have a smaller machine that can work faster with smaller component that cost less to just spit out preamps, PC board with preamps on them. And because they use cheaper part, they have a more part tolerance between them. So everything is not going to be as precise, because in electronic, if you don't know, you have different level of quality grade for component. Some of the stuff, the cheapest stuff will have a 20% tolerance on them. So every part that you're buying could be plus or minus 20% of tolerance. So let's say that you need a one picofarad capacitor. It could be 20% more or less. So times every single component on the preamp, time every single component on the console, you can result may vary. And you have the higher stuff, which is a 1% tolerance grade. So if you have a resistor that says, I want a 1 ohm resistance, it's going to be within 1% a 1 ohm resistor, or 1 kilo ohm, or 1 mega ohm. It will be within the 1%. So it will be way, way more precise. I believe the Behringer stuff is a Midas design stuff. I believe the Midas console used the same design on paper, but with better component. And the blue stuff is also another level. They use better component and also component with less tolerance than the other. So depending on what you're gonna get, it's really like to be lucky. You have luck or not with your preamp. Some of them probably gonna sound like garbage, some of them probably won't. So it's a matter of like being lucky with your preamp. You can have the perfect on paper design X32 batch that's gonna sound really good, and the other day you're gonna have a crappier one that's not gonna sound as good. But overall, to answer your question, it's the choice of component between the two. Also, the channel processing is different from what Rob is saying. The channel processing is different though. Okay. Tobias, welcome. Hi. I think the 8 local wing preamp are Midas Blue. I did my testing, not in a fully scientific way, but I did A/B them myself with my DL251, and I believe that this is really, really close to a blue box preamp that we have on the back of the wing. I believe they sound as good, or plug in myself into the same, one microphone into both preamp, give me a result that was canceling out. So they are, I believe, the same thing. Or I just got really lucky and I have a really good one. I don't know. But yeah. Love first. Hi. How do you like the M32R live compared to the wing? I think Midas. I'm thinking of Midas for my church. In the, I'm gonna call it the M32 or the MX32 world, the MX family. M32R is my favorite one. The live is only meaning that you have the SD card recorder option in the back. You can take, those little piece of plastic and you can, hold on. There you go. You can record a show on them. This is the only difference between live and non-live version of the console. Also, there is a knob upgrade on the live, I believe. I think they just changed the kind of plastic that they're using to something that is closer to the wing. If I were to choose right now, I would take still a wing over a Midas for a new console. You're gonna get more option. You're gonna get more future-proof stuff with the wing. You're gonna get better sounding. That really depends on the size of stuff that you're having. If you're having just 2 speakers on a stick, you're probably not gonna get better result from one to another. I mean, it's gonna be the reproduction of the PA level, like I was talking before. But in between the two, I would go with the wing, just for future proofing and probably getting better result in your monitor wise. And yes, the wing has 5 times the processing or power of any M or X32. So it's a better option. It's a better future-proof option. You have way more with the wing for pretty much the same price. And sound quality wise, well, it depends on your PA and the operator. If you know what you're doing, you're gonna probably get more, you have more flexibility on the wing versus the M32 live. One thing I noticed was the wing and M32, same preamp sounds different. It depends on what preamp you have. Are you gonna go, because the Wing doesn't have local preamp, or it only has 8 local preamp. So if you're using a stage box, well, you're gonna get the preamp that you're gonna get. I'm using a Midas DL251, way more expensive, but I believe sound way better, and also future-proofing myself. Because, disclaimer, one day I'm gonna move away from the Wing, and I'm probably gonna go Midas. I love my DL251. It's the best preamp that I ever own. Studio-wise, preamp, everything, it's the best bang for the buck. Wing, I use the DL. If you use the DL32, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be the same thing. It's gonna be the same preamp. The channel processing on the Wing will be different, but preamp-wise, it will be the same preamp. A DL32. Okay. Does the Wing work well with the DP48? Yeah, I don't see any reason why it would not work well with the DP48. It's an AES-50 device. Whatever that you have your whatever that you have your Midas DP48 plug to, if you have them in C, you can just take any. Oh, that's the output group. No, I want the input. Hold on. It's backward. Those consoles are always backward. I got it right this time. So you have your output on this side. I can't believe output on this side. I know it's backward, and I'm gonna keep saying until they just make a routing system that makes sense. If you have your DP48 plugged into output C, or port C of your console, I should say, whatever that you have available here in that menu will be sent directly out to your DP48, and you will have the option on the DP48 to EQ, mix, and do you have compression on the DP48? I don't remember, but you will be able to play around with those sources. The Wing is probably pairing better with the DP48 than anything else, because you have way more option of routing than the X32. Well, the X32, you have some custom routing that you can do, but I think the Wing is well made to be paired with these and will work great. Honestly, I'm thinking of buying DP48 myself. Probably just use one as a side mixer. Sometimes you have a small patch, you just do your thing, and you can have a small mixer to turn on microphone in or out. I can probably do you have gain control on DP48? Can you give it gain control and do my dream setup? Just getting a DL32 as a split snake, send that into your DP48 and run some kind of, like an Aviom system, but with just the DP48. If you could do that, that would be awesome. If not, oh well, it still worked great paired with a console. No gain control, only trims. Okay, so you need to have something to set the gain on the stage box. So okay, well noted. Love the DP48 functionality on the X32 for pushing setup. Currently not available on the Wing. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The S16 can control. Well, come on. I don't speak English anymore. Hold on. I need coffee. Feeling better. So the S16 can control gain from the front panel. Yes, this is the way that I would go if I were to do a setup like that. You have 3 S16. You do your gain, and for a band that want to be self-contained monitor wise, you can do this, or you can have an X32 rack, but that will be that will be an option. San 4K, hello from Canada. What do you think about the Soundcraft UI16? Honestly, I don't know. Never tried it. I've been running an X32 core with the DL251 for the last 5 to 7 years. So I honestly never had the luxury to use the UI16. The comment that I have so far are, it's not bad. Compare it to not a wing, more to something like an X-Air. They both stand a fighting chance. Soundcraft is not known to do crappy stuff. I'm not a fan of the compact series. That's all I'm gonna say. But it was not made for the job that I tried to do with it. I tried to do some corporate event with a compact back in the day. That's my experience with the smaller model Soundcraft. I used the VI, the 3000, the VI. What's the other model number? I'm working from time to time in a venue where I'm doing monitor on a VI 3000, VI 3. I don't remember, VI 2, VI 3. It's one of those, those Soundcraft with the 2 screens. They're all like that. But my experience with the cheaper stuff from Soundcraft is it sounds good, but they cut out on some feature. Like, on the gate side, you only have gate. You don't have any expender or any ducker, or maybe you have ducker, but I don't think you have option for using a lot of stuff on there. Compressor wise, you only have one compressor. So that's been my experience so far. It's limiting. Back in the day, the compact series only had a 2-band parametric and 1 low shelf and high shelf parametric EQ. Nowadays, it's the kind of feature that doesn't cut it, because on the wing or even on the X-Air, you have a 4-band full parametric. Even on the Flow 8, you have 4-band full parametric console. So yeah, no, I don't know. It's probably the same thing on the UI16, and I know a lot of people switch from the UI16 to X32 rack to the MR18, and soon to be released eventually one day at some point, and I don't know when. Don't ask me. Wing rack with 24 preamp, as I've leaked a couple weeks ago, if you want to watch that after this live stream. You can connect just DP48 to a stage box. I believe you could if you're using the S16 as a Clockmaster, because if I remember correctly, on the S16, this is the best preamp or stage box that was designed for the M or X series, because it can be Clockmaster. You have preamp control on the front, and also with like all the stuff that it can do. Yeah, if you were to rig out 3 S16, you could do 48 input and having the gain control for everything. And you have also headphone preamp on there. If you want to assign them to a bus, you could do some inner monitoring from the stage box. I've think about that a lot. Also, if you are a recording studio and you want to get some really cheap, affordable, a lot of input for really cheap, you can do a couple of S16, up to 3 S16 with a DN, I believe it's 9310 or 9330, that is AS50 to USB, and you can use that as your sound interface to get all like 48 preamps for dirt cheap. And let's be honest, the DL32 preamp, they're not that bad. So you can have, just for fun, you could have in a studio, in a recording studio, 3 S16, DN9630. Thank you very much. You could have 3 DL16, a bunch of DP48 for your monitoring, and you can also grab one end of that and record 48 preamp live off the floor with a lot of, with like basically 48, 24, 48 input, 24 out, plus the DP48 at the same time, if you really want to go crazy on a studio setup. And that will act as your interface. That will act as your full-on studio interface. So a lot of stuff can be done with those S16 boxes. And also they are good to convert to Ultranet if you have P16. They have a lot. It's like the how do you call it? It's the hidden feature, the magic hero. It's your ace of spade when you need a stage box. The L16. Okay. Sorry, I was hearing a weird noise. We're good. Yeah, they also have ADAT out if you ever need those for some reason, like you're living in 2001. Sorry, guys. The UI16 is very noisy. You need to look at the UI24. That being said, the UI24 R has some weird issue that hasn't been resolved, and it's been pretty much an end of life product. Oh, I didn't know about the UI24, but if it's on end life maintenance, yeah, no. So what would you recommend? A wing with a Behringer S32 with Midas DP48. And ATM33 to start with some. I don't know what the Pro ATM33s are. Those are in-ear monitors. I don't know what they are. But honestly, for in-ears, I would recommend either. Hold on. I got a secret for you guys. The cheapest version of the Shure S215 that you can buy are actually the Behringer, the Behringer SD251. Seriously? It's a cheaper alternative to the 215 from Shure. I don't know how long they're gonna last. I don't know how the warranty is honestly doing with these, but it's the same thing. Sonic wise, I've done the test. If you don't believe me, go check out my video about that where I analyze the output of these in-ears. Frequency wise, it's exactly or really close to the Shure SE215, but they cost less than $50 shipped to your place. So if you are on a budget or you need a pair of spare in-ear just to say that you can go through a show, get these. Replace the earbuds, the plastic earbuds, replace these. But other than that, they got my seal of approval, the SD251. Those are the clear. They also come in black. But yeah, those are my go-to. Like if you're on a really tight budget, go with these. If not, Shure SE215. And if not on a budget at all, Shure 846 are my holy grail of in-ear monitor. I love them to death. The Pro ATM33s are wireless in-ear monitor, 4-in-1 mono wireless pack. Why would you want to go mono? Especially if you have DP48. I would go stereo wired any day of the week before going wireless mono. Seriously. If you have the option to go stereo, go stereo. If you are on a budget, a lot of people can be wired. A lot of people with instrument that have wired instrument, playing guitar, bass, keyboard, drums, Everybody that has an instrument in his hand that is wired can go wired in-ear. You just double up on the wire. What I do is I usually tape a headphone extension to a 1/4-inch guitar and use a single cable or a pair of single cable taped together for your musician. But if you have the DP48, yeah, go this way. ATM for singers. Honestly, you're gonna save a lot of trouble going stereo. It's easier to build a mix for somebody that sing, where you can pan out stuff. Let's say you can pan out guitar, you can pan out other singer, and leave them dead center. It will be my option. If you want to go, I don't know what the cost of the Pro ATM33 are, but if you can go Shure PSM 300, even the cheapest version with the plastic belt pack, if you can go that route, it will be the way to go. I would say, honestly, what I recommend everybody right now is Shure PSM 300 with the P3 TR pack, basically the metal pack. It's the simpler transmitter with the really good belt pack coming from the 900 series or the 900 series, not the 1000. That's 2 antenna, but it's the metal pack, metal belt pack that come from the 900 series, and it's gonna give you like also in the kit included a pair of Shure SE215. So if you buy one pack of the cheapest, there's only one option of PSM 300 transmitter with the good receiver, you also get a pair of good in-ear. I believe it's the best value right now if you were to go wired. And honestly, other than have to deal with the fact that the unit are 1/4-inch in the back, that you need adapters basically to plug them, or you if you have 4 singer, well, just buy a loon of female XLR to 1/4-inch. Honestly, yeah. The MyPro 909, Rob, really? It's been a while since I've dealt with MyPro. A dealer that I was close to start to sell MyPro, and they're cheaper option than the Shure. I believe the Shure will last you a longer time, but it depends. If you're telling me that you're gonna have budget soon, but you need to buy something right now, maybe the MyPro is an option, but I don't think they will last as long as the Shure stuff will. My opinion. My artists usually do mono IM, only one ear plus wedge. That's the worst thing that you could do, and I know because I need to do monitor for somebody that's working out this way, and it's causing me problem a lot. So, PSM 300 is good enough, usually work well. Honestly, the PSM 300 is the thing is, the PSM 300, once you enter that world, it gives you just enough quality that you're never going to need to change them. You're never going to need to upgrade your PSM 300 if you get the real good metal body pack. You have a lot of option in there. You have basically all the option from the higher series, but with the, like I said, cheaper transmitter. If you don't need to have it network, if you don't need to have it, playing around with some stuff in Shure Workbench, the 300 is just fine. It's gonna last you a lifetime, and the metal version of the belt pack come with also the 215. So it's a win-win-win for me when it comes to in-ear. The MyPro stuff, I don't know if they ever want to send me one for me to review. I would be more than happy to do so and try it out. But I'm not gonna go out and buy one. But yeah, definitely something that I'm interested in look at. But I cannot recommend them if I don't try them. The 300 can still network for within each other for group scan. Yes, you can. So, what setup would you recommend for my church that is now fully moving from analog? Okay. Well, console-wise, okay, let's go with the list. Guys, help me out. Console-wise, I would say the Wing is the best bang for the bucks right now on the market. Stage box-wise, DL32 will do. DP48 will do just fine for your people that are wired. And wireless in-ear, I would say Shure PSM 300. Make sure that you buy the version with the PVR3 bell pack, the metal bell pack, not the plastic one. And it's gonna come with a pair of SE215, which is all you need to get going with Singer. The SE215s are my recommendation on cheap in-ear monitor. They were like $100. So even I would say if you're not going with the PSM 300, I would say get the Shure 215. Or worst case scenario, get the Behringer one that I just showed, the SD 251. That's gonna work too. That will be my recommendation. Also, make sure that you get good cable. Make sure that don't cheap out on your network cable. Go with what is recommended. Go with a good old Cat 5e shielded cable under 80 meter, which is 260 feet, I believe, for the standard. And while you're at it, just run 2 on your setup and you'll be good to go. And also, actually, I would say run 4, because you would need 2 for redundancy, and you can maybe use 2 for something else or your DP48. Dual S16 or S32. S32s. It doesn't need really the 260. The S16 doesn't need 2. Invest into molded in-ear. No, I was disappointed with that because hold on, I had my Shure 846 molded to my ear 5 years ago, and after 2 years, my body transformed enough, my inner ear canal transformed enough that I had to throw away the mold. So it's $80 per mold per 2 year. So it's gonna cut down to $80 of cost per year. Even if I'm changing, the yellow Shure foam every gig at around, like, if I'm doing less than 30 gigs, or I could change my Shure foam 30 times in a year and still be like within the same range, I would go with the Shure yellow universal foam with good in-ear, and that will do. Honestly, that will be the way to go. I don't think I'm gonna invest into molded in-ear anymore. Yes, you're supposed to replace the mold every 2 years, but I don't think money-wise it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. If let's say that you're replacing your foam every month, you're doing like 3 to 4 gigs with every pair of yellow foam every month. It's gonna cost you less to use just regular foam, or I'm using the black one from Shure. Hold on, I got them here. Always carrying around my 846 with me. I'm using these yellow foam from Shure. Hold on, there we go. These yellow foam just work fine for me. I change them around once a year, and honestly, that's all I need. I'm good with them, and it's gonna last me a lifetime with a pack of 20. And I have just regular in-ear. I don't need to have like specially molded one. Seriously, with the ease of replacement, With the ease of replacement, for sure in-ear, I would say just go out this way. Just go regular in-ear. It's kind of worth it. What's going on here? I'm 22 years old. That's been doing sound audio since 2018. Yeah, sure. Way to go, dude. You're gonna get good at this. But I wasn't at a pretty bad setup. But we need digital so bad. We have no comp, EQ, or gates. Oh man, it reminds me of my analog days. I feel you, buddy. I feel you. Been there. I started working in a venue with a good old Soundcraft. I believe it's a GL 2400, something like that. Those cheaper console, and I had 4 compressor back in the day, and like I believe it was 4 gate and 6 compressor, maybe the Behringer one. It was all Behringer with the Allen and E console, and you basically had no EQ on these things. You basically had not that good sounding preamp. They were fine. And I had to deal with the Behringer compressor, which was okay, but they tend to smash way too much. As soon as you see the LED going on these things, they just destroy the sound. So yeah, I feel you. Going with a wing will be a good option for you, I believe. All the lists that I gave you would be my recommendation if I were to build a setup right now for somebody. If you want to encourage me and buy all that stuff from the affiliate link down below, it will be a good help for me. Because honestly, I'm not getting paid. Everybody out there, disclaimer, I'm not getting any money. I'm not getting paid by Behringer at all. Actually, they advertise that they don't pay out for review. So don't believe me, just go see them, and they do not. Like, Behringer did not even send me a sticker for free for all the good publicity that I gave them. Nothing against them. I'm doing this on my own. But all to say that I did not get anything. All you get here is my unbiased opinion. Or maybe biased because I bought the thing. But other than that, if it was sounding like garbage, I would not keep it. Let's just put it out this way. So I believe in this console. It's a good sounding console. I believe in my DL251 preamp. Awesome sounding preamp. Together, they pair really well. Easy to carry around-ish. I'm gonna wait for the new version to come out. But man, yeah, really worth it. Alright, so I think a wing with a Midas DL232. 2 DP48 for 4 instrumentalists. Yeah, that's a workaround, but that will do. And for wireless, I really want to get stereo in here, but might not get the budget. Okay. What brand would you recommend for Cat 5e shielded cable? Any cable should do. If anybody got a recommendation for Cat 5e shielded cable, I've built my own, so I did not buy a pre-made cable. I basically bought a spool of Cat 5 on the internet, but 1,000 feet of Cat 5e. I used like braided shielded cable. I went with the best thing. Braided shielded cable, and I made myself some Ethercon connector on each end with metal RJ45 connector. I basically did build the best cable I could build for my console, and I went within spec. I went with a 250 foot cable of braided Cat 5e shielded, and I kept the rest cable to have a 350 footer just for fun, and it's working with my console. So I just maybe was lucky and got really good cable, but otherwise I have a 250 foot of cable. Let me know if the demand is there. Maybe I can start to custom made some wires for you guys. I'm really good with doing Cat 5e stuff. It's really easy, honestly, to just build those cables. It's a little bit time consuming, but it's not really hard. I heard that 150 feet Cat 5e shielded cable can make it unstable Or is that a lie? It's a lie. The spec is 80 meters, which translate to 260 feet, I believe. Just to make sure, Google how much is 80 meter in feet, but I believe it's something like 264, close to that. So that will be my recommendation for Cat 5. Just find out a good Cat 5e shielded with EtherCon, and if it's going to be like remain at the same place, you don't need to have braided. Sound tool cables from Dave Rat, they're good for sure. They're good. They might be pricey, but they're good. Digiflex also make some really good stuff because it's made not far from my place, so maybe this is why I'm thinking of them. All the stores around here carry the Digiflex stuff, but yeah, Digiflex stuff is also a good option. Who else is making good cable? Don't go the Monster cable stuff route. You don't need that at all. You want something professional, not like home enthusiast. I like wire that big to connect to my speakers. Yeah, I would say either Digiflex. Make sure that you get the Cat 5, not Cat 6. Cat 5e shielded with EtherCon. Those will be my two options, and the Digiflex will be the most affordable for sure. And I don't know if Sound Tools got Cat 5e. If I can suggest a Cat 5 cable, the Clark Technic. The Clark Technic one costs a fair amount, but it's very especially with AES-50, which is by far the most demanding protocol for Cat 5 cable. Yes, actually, Clark Technic is made probably up to spec for the Behringer because it's a sister company of the Music Tribe. So Clark Technic one, probably good. Make sure that the price makes sense because honestly, guys, it's just copper. Like, if it's a Cat 5e, it's a Cat 5e. The branding on the other end should not matter much. It should work. Question, for a fixed installation, is it as good to use solid core cable? Yes, I would say for a permanent installation, it should be fine. Like every single network build with those cables on a building, on any building, will use solid core cable. If you're moving your setup a lot, I would say braided cable will be better, but if not, solid core cable, it's got to be good. It's probably gonna conduct a little better, I believe. Solid core cable conducts a little better than a braided one. Could be wrong here, let me know. I'm sure somebody in the chat know the answer to this one, but yeah, basically any Cat 5e shielded cable will do the job for this thing under 80 meters. Yeah. Clark Technic is a brand that developed the AES-50 protocol that was implemented on the X32 and Wing. So the Clark Technic cable is potentially the best for the job. It's a good cable, but it's probably pricey for what it is. On the other end, Snake or whatever it's called, build 50 and 60 meter amps were perfectly fine with. Yeah, as long as you get, yeah, it's like Rob is saying, it's been proven that certified cable do not meet the spec. So I would say, you know what, if you can find, okay, if it's a permanent installation, you're never gonna move your setup other than just like cleaning your under the console once a while. Any cable that you can buy at a electronic store with metal RJ45 connector. You don't need EtherCon. Hear me out. You don't need EtherCon. You don't need the XLR part of the intercon. As long as you get a metal RJ45 connector, this is where the shield on the cable is connected to, not the XLR protector over that RJ45 connector. So if you're having a shielded with metal RJ45 connector, You got a Cat5e shielded metal RJ45 connector. Sorry, I just want to make sure that I make sense. You're good to go. As long as the cable is within spec. That will do. Period. If you want to go something that is better protected with Ethercon connector, you can go too, but if not, that's going to work. And it should not give you any problem. Like, yeah. It should, as long as it's grounded and there's a path for that signal to go to ground, it's happening in the metal connector. It should be good. Specs are crucial when you start having long cable, getting closer to the maximum length. Yes, it matters a lot. Eduardo, yeah, the same way that all the Behringer didn't need the Ethercon plug to be grounded. Yeah. And they say that they need to be grounded. So I've done show on X32 with Amazon Cat5. Yeah. Amazon Cat5 shielded. If you can get shielded, it's gonna be good. Behringer Turbosound are a bit inconsistent about P16 Ultranet connection. Is it Ethercon on S32 and on the T? I don't know what that is. But on the X32 rack series, only plain. Yeah, plain RJ45 connector is just fine as long as it's metal. As long as it's shielded in metal connector, it's fine. You don't need the XLR Ethercon. Interesting one from my take on it is that unfortunately the AES-50 is not a Ethernet protocol, which is true. You cannot send you cannot really send AES-50 to a switch or anything. It has to be point to point or use a extender that I don't have here. But it's different protocol that run over Cat5. Okay. But even so, Pro 1, yeah, Cat5 UTP are spec. Hold on. The protocol has been changed for the Pro Series. It now requires STP, so shielded twist pair with basically shielded connection. Back in the day, it was requiring non-shielded cable on the Pro Series, but they changed the spec because they burn out too many of AES-50 port with static. So eventually, it was replaced. So Midas is all STP now, finally. So I hope it answers your question, my friend. I hope you're gonna have a good cable, but honestly, make sure that you get STP, shielded twist pair. It's how it's labeled. Metal RJ45 connector, and you're good to go. For a permanent installation, solid core will do. If not, like I built them for myself, I use shielded Cat5e braided cable under 250 feet, and that made it for me. They require Ethercon for AES-50. You don't need them. Honestly, you don't need them. AES-50 follow the internet electrical spec. What do you mean by that, Rob? Because it used the same wire coding? Ultranet. Okay, it's about Ultranet. Okay, good. Got you guys. Hey, we've been going for a while. How long we've been on? Like an hour and a half? Are you guys tired? Do you guys have any more questions? Because I believe today we did a lot. We helped a lovely gentleman to build a setup for his church. Anybody else have any other question? Because otherwise we've been like, I tried to keep this video around an hour for it to make sense and to watch in playback. But if you guys have any other subject that you guys want to talk about, we can go ahead and move on to another question. Or if not, we're going to close that down. But before that, let me remind you to please like this video. I'm sure you guys can make that up a little bit. Also, if you want to get notification when I'm going live every Monday, make sure when you subscribe to ring the bell on your subscription. Also, if you want to support me, become a member or a super member of the channel. I really appreciate every super member. We had some people showing up today. Did we? Do we have any member? Their names show up in green. I think we have Charlie. Yes, Charlie is there. What's up, Charlie? Thank you very much for being a long-time member of the channel. Make sure to send me an email because I believe you're a super member, right? Make sure to send me an email once you want to get your free 1-hour consultation with me, or we can just chat and hang out, have a good time. Always fun to do that. AS50 is compliant to the normal Ethernet electricals, and they are not different. Okay, well, you probably need to explain that to me a little further in detail, Rob. Once you're out of vacation, we should definitely have a call. It's been a while. Send me a time when you're available. We should chat together, Rob. So, okay, on that note, guys, I'm gonna pull the plug on this one. Okay, it's been a pleasure answering those questions. Please come back every week, where as a community we can take a look at your question if you have one. I'm gonna do my best, but together we're stronger, and people with different kind of knowledge on different kind of stuff, like there's way more people than me that know about network and stuff like that. So make sure to join in next Monday at 1:30 to maybe pick the brain of those guys in the chat, pick my brain. And until the next one, I want you guys to please stay safe. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself in the sense of take care of your body, because it's hard to do show and hard to do gig. Take care of yourself in there. I recommend that to everybody, to take some time to relax off and enjoy life. I hope you enjoy this live stream. I hope it help you bring your mind to some really cool stuff, like doing live sound, building up with the wing, or the studio stuff. I love you studio guys too. But seriously, on this note, thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourself. I'll see you guys later. And that button doesn't work, of course. You guys know, right? You guys know that my button doesn't work. Oh man. I thought I had not so bad outro today. And now I cannot see my computer screen. It's gonna be really cool. I cannot close the stream because there's some other stuff in there. Okay, I'm gonna end up. I'm gonna finish this live stream abruptly. Oh no, hold on, I can get to it. Okay, finally found where to get my OBS, guys. On this poor outro. Thanks for watching. See you.